Okay, this is just a warning that, for this video, well, first off, what I'm going to talk about is before you judge something or someone, think of there's reasons why they are the way they are. And then this is a warning also that there's going to be a lot of cursing in this video because I'm just ranting. I'm just talking, and I don't have time to make this like a kid-safe video, so I'm cursing in this video, man, like usual. And oh yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, man. This is Steve from the back, and this is a wild fucking buck wild and crazy rant like usual. Okay, so what this video is basically, this rant is about today's how I don't know how to really I don't know how to really put this, but this video is kind of about how, like, a lot of these, and I'm not saying this to like be real complainy and naggy and be complaining about things, but basically what I want to touch on is a couple of things, and maybe this maybe this shit is like alien to some people or something. Now, there's a lot of videos, and a lot of times us, often as men, we don't really voice our opinion about our emotions. We just kind of have this, or expected to have this attitude of we're gonna do something that's like grueling, and then we're gonna just kind of like, I guess, fucking tough it out and just keep doing what we're doing. And a lot of times that is what we have to do. But I'm really gonna touch on about how, like, these jobs that they have us working don't really, how am I trying to say this? What I'm trying to say is they're not really exactly suited for a man. Number one, they're not really suited for what I'd say is a man. They're not really suited for a straight man. They're not really suited for a manly man or a normal man. Off of the basis of this might sound like crazy to some people, but I look at it like this. Well, okay, so first off, you got to think, if you're a man like me, you don't, like, there's certain tasks that you'll do them, but I'm not trying to sound sexist or be sexist, but in the back of your mind, you feel like, well, if this ain't fucking woman's work, I don't know what type of work this is, because this just does not really resonate with my natural, let's just say, attributes or strengths. This really doesn't, you know what I mean? I'm one of those guys where I'll admit, like, I can do labor. I don't look strong. I'm a small guy, but I'm stronger than most people my size, and honestly, than most people in general. In average, on average, most people just in general. When it comes to a man that's on a job, I'm stronger than the average man. So, if you put me to work and you tell me to lift this, move that, do this, do that, I can go all day, for the most part. Because that's just the way I'm wired. I'm athletic, I'm strong. But when you ask me to do something that's like, for whatever reason, is like this weird little tedious shit where it's like, you gotta like memorize all this and that, and it has to be this little perfect way, and it's all detailed and shit. That fucking throws me off. That like it throws me off, because it's not that I can't do it. It's just that I'm not gonna be as good at that as maybe another man, or definitely probably not as good as most women at that, because that's just not a thing. And maybe it's not even a man thing, but it's, for me, a me thing. That's not my fucking strong point. But I'm saying all this to, I know I'm kind of like beating around the bush, because this is a YouTube video, and you gotta stretch the time out. But what I'm saying is, when you're a man, and I'm going to kind of allude to other things too, it's kind of like, how am I trying to say this? It almost, it detracts from your, like, just natural ways of yourself because it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't really it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't resonate with you in any type of way. It's like you might be doing it because you're getting paid, but I'm just speaking for me personally. This is just me ranting about this some type of thing. Another thing that I feel like as a man, this is like the most soul crushing thing that a man can ever experience, right? Um, when you're a man like me and you always find yourself being the third wheel, like let's say you're single and you always find yourself being that third wheel person to where for whatever reason everyone seems to somehow find someone, even if they're in these retarded ass jacked up whatever fucking situations or relationships, you always end up that third person and you're always single. And then you what's the word you know, you always hear people say things to you like that you're a nice person or that you're a good guy and this and that or whatever. But see, as a man, like, I mean, we take compliments, we think that's good, but how can I put this in a nice way? We don't give a fuck about that. What we give a fuck about is if a bitch actually, for once, chooses you over some other guy. It's like, for instance, like, you know how if you know, let's say if you know like 3 or 4 girls, or you know, however many girls you know or know of or whatever in your neighborhood or whatever, and instead of that girl always jumping to another option when she is single to another guy, she actually chooses you. That's all that we give a fuck about. I'm just all I'm saying is this is like a man is simple, and I'm really talking about this because men don't really seem to talk about their emotions. So a man may not tell you how soul crushing it is to always be single or be the third wheel or whatever, or the fifth wheel. I'm just joking around. It's not even a saying, but you know, he's a fifth wheel, he's a third wheel, he's a sixth wheel, he's a ninth wheel. Fucking thing has 9 wheels. He's an 18th wheel on the fucking 18 wheel. You know, it's like when you're always that person like me, that shit is soul crushing. And then a lot of people they look at us men and they judge us like well, why are you so bitter, or why are you so fucking violent, or why are you just seriously a straight psycho? Like, why are you literally so violent and so antisocial? You don't want nothing to do with any other friends. You don't want to have friends. You don't want to talk to other males even on a friendly basis. uh you seem homophobic. You seem this, you seem that. It's just fucking sheer rage, man, because you got to understand, when you're a man and you're always alone and you have no emotional fulfillment and you never have a woman, and or you have to always experience some woman for whatever reason never wants you, you know what I mean? You could have friends that care about you, family that care about you, whatever, people that might want your time, but it's never what you want, you know what I mean? That shit is frustrating. That's the type of shit that makes you want to commit suicide, you know what I'm saying? That's how that is. It's just men don't talk about these things, man. So basically, what I'm saying in this video is don't always judge a man. How really what I'm trying to say is, see, because a lot of people are fucking stupid. They have this whole like anti-male, anti-masculine, anti shit in their head, and what they really don't understand about us men is this: is that us men have a certain psyche for a reason, and like violent motherfuckers like me that seem to just not give a fuck. And like, I'm polite in a professional setting, but if you were to see me in another setting, you probably would think I was a different person. Or some people, like, I would never say a word to you if I was in a public setting, like especially if I don't know you, because I'm just antisocial and fucking violent and like a ticking time bomb a lot of times, because I don't want to be bothered. Like I said, a man wants what he wants and wants one thing. A man does not like to deviate and play around and go into other avenues when he wants one thing. Think of it this way. Like, and I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm keeping it fucking real, man. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's like, for instance, a woman goes in the store, wants to window shop, wants to say, "Ooh, this is nice. Oh, this is nice," instead of just going straight to what they fucking want. See, us men, we don't fuck around with that. We do that when we want to. Like, if the whole, like, if we go to the park and we just want to look at the different plants and we want to see what little wildlife is running around, and like we want to sit and like just chill and see, you know, how the weather changes, and just that's a different thing. You know what I mean? Or if we want to go in window shop, we want to see what's there, we do that. But typically, us men, we are goal orientated, and when we have a focus, we just go straight to that. So we don't want to be bothered. You know, when we go to the bus stop, we don't want to fucking talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Now we'll talk to maybe an attractive woman that maybe catches our eye, or maybe if there's a like we have a girl back home. If you're not single, you could talk to her all day. But the thing is, generally, you kind of get annoyed with things that aren't really relevant to you, and a lot of times us men are just antisocial. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I'm one of those guys. I'm just pretty much like I'll make small talk to what's the word maybe pass the time, maybe to be polite sometimes, but half the time I just honestly don't give a fuck, and I want nothing to do with anybody except if it's a woman that I want to get to know or something. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I already know and like have a what's the word? Feelings for or desire for or something, or would want a relationship with. It's just that's just the way it is, man. But that's the reality. But but what is like how much right? It's kind of like think of if you took a dog and you put a dog in a fucking suit and you try to make a dog do data entry in computer. Ain't no fucking dog wants to do that. A dog will fucking tear that fucking corner of that computer right off. Because it's a fucking dog. You don't try to. But what I'm trying to say is, I feel like this society, this modern world, a lot of these fucking jobs, this professional world, what a lot of this shit is you're taking unnatural things and trying to lump it in one big ball in an unnatural way. And it, trust me, this is me. Well, speaking for myself, I know there's a lot of other guys like me out there, but it destroys my psyche. Like it fucking crushes my whole soul, honestly, to get up, work hard, bust my ass, come home to nothing, not nothing, but to come home alone, no fucking bitch, no woman, uh, do everything my fucking self. You know what I mean? Have no fucking joy. Have friends, but friends don't want to do things I want to do. I'm very active. Motherfuckers want to be lazy. That's soul crushing, man. You gotta understand when you do something day in and day out, and you feel like there's very little that fulfills you in your life, but you just do things to survive. That shit is fucking soul crushing, man. There's many days where I get up and I don't want to even fucking get out of bed. I wish I was never born. You know, that's that's the average fucking day. So I'm trying to also say like when you see a motherfucker like me in your first thing to say, because I get this a lot, like, oh, you're crazy, like, oh, crazy, okay, motherfucker, like, did you ever ask someone why they're fucking crazy? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, do you ever try to ask someone possibly, or if you don't even ask them, because you probably be asking for trouble, but did you ever think to yourself, there's a reason why someone is the way they is? Like, they're not just like that. Like, maybe there's reasons to that. That's what I'm really trying to hit home. So, what I'm trying to say is this, man. I'm trying to say that a lot of shit that goes under the radar and people just like it goes over their head and they think everything's just it's the same old day. I'm just the way I am. That motherfucker over there is weird. That motherfucker over there is crazy. That motherfucker is this. That motherfucker is that. They don't really understand like there's reasons why everyone is the way they are. Like there's fucking reasons to everything. Like you know, it's just the way it is, man. Hiccups. But I'm trying to say it's not about some this motherfucker's so unagreeable and this motherfucker's violent, dangerous, and needs to be behind bars. No, it's just if you strip someone of the bare minimum of things or of anything that they actually would value and they have nothing that they actually cherish or value in their life, they might turn into a fucking monster. And I'll be the one to say, I can be and usually am a fucking monster. You know what I mean? When I'm like single and depressed, like that's just me, you know what I mean? Um, that is, I am a fucking monster. I'm not gonna lie. And most of us men are. Most of us real men are. You know what I'm saying? You got to think too. Another thing I want to touch on, because people just don't fucking get anything, is how like think of it this way. That same rage and that fucking violence that us men have is the same thing that fucking won every war that we've ever fucking had. All your fucking little freedoms that you have was from men that had the same fucking vicious ass rage and malicious intent in disregard for life. That's how you have your freedoms, okay? People had to fight wars. It wasn't that you're just a pussy and you were just like, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody, and that's so insane. That's out of control. I could never do that to someone. And then magically, some enemy got killed, and somehow a war was won. That's not how fucking shit works, man. So that's one thing I have to also say. You got to understand that like everything has purpose in a man, a fucking natural man, a normal man. Like I consider myself actually normal. I think the world is just fucking crazy, and everyone around me is fucking crazy. There's fucking reasons for everything, okay? That's what this rant's really about. So this rant is about how like if you were to try to take a square and stick that shit in a triangle hole, it's not gonna fit. So if you try to take a man, and I'll speak for myself because I'm not every man, but I'm myself, you take me and stick me in the midst of this bullshit that you call like your fucking professional setting and your society and you fucking stick me in there, there's gonna be fucking problems. I'm gonna fucking butt heads with a lot of people and they're gonna be like, what the fuck? You're fucking crazy, man. What the fuck's wrong with you? Well, there's reasons for it, you know what I mean? Now if my life was different and I had all the things, not even all, but start for starters, if I wasn't always fucking single and alone, it would be fucking I would be a different person. Like obviously my core values would be they are, but I would be a much more like happier person. It would a lot of things would be different. But it's not even just about that. It's also about like even when you're happy in your staple of what holds you together, like when you have the staple in your life of what keeps you like at your best, you still have to have patience and self-control and deal with how you interact with people and things on a daily basis. So you still, it's not like everything is perfect. I mean, in your mind, everything, at least someone like me, everything would feels perfect. But then there's also every other thing you have to do in this day-to-day life, in your day-to-day. So this rant and this ramble, if you don't take anything from this, fucking take this one thing from everything I fucking said and fucking listen fucking hard, motherfucker. What you need to take from this is that when you see anything that seems unusual to you or whatever, think that it's there for a fucking reason. That's what you gotta take from it. Think that there's reasons for this shit. Think on that. Think that like there's a storyline that goes back that you don't know the half of that made a person or something what it is or who he or she is and how. Think of that first before you just make some assumption because you're just in a different world and you're in a different life. Even me, as much as like sometimes I can just be an asshole and not even fucking acknowledge people, I still know I'm intelligent enough to know that they have like a fucking backstory. I mean, they didn't just poof out of thin air, So like even a fucking cockroach has a backstory of something. It was born. You know what I mean? It fucking had to grow up into an adult. It didn't just pop out as it is. So take that, okay? Listen to what the fuck I said and take that knowledge with you, okay? Yeah, that's my rant. There's no monetization. There's a bunch of curses in there. Fuck it. This is I just thought it was something that needed to be said because it's not said enough, especially with men. We don't say it enough. So have a nice day.